What's up, everybody? Gabriel Santos from gfsantos.com, also author of Marijuana Mindfulness. Sorry, that's a moth. Quick message to y'all. Okay, so just got a comment from someone saying that they just binged on weed and they really thought that it was the last time that they were going to go through this cycle of, saying I'm done with weed and feeling like they have control, and probably even going a couple weeks, maybe even a month without smoking. And then, they found themselves back on the binge, right? That classic situation. I'm done for good. Yeah, right? And then, I think I have control of this. Yeah. And then you do it once, a person does it once, and then all of a sudden you're doing it every day like you were before. You were going up and now you're going down, right? Okay, so what do you do? Okay. First of all, totally get it. Okay. I went through that situation over 100 times over the last 8 years. Okay. And I get that it's frustrating and depressing, self-defeating, and the more times we do this, the more we tend to feel hopeless. Like, well, I guess I just don't have any control. Okay, so I just have a piece of advice. Take it or leave it, okay? Consider that the goal you're setting yourself up on is not the right goal. That your sense of success is on the wrong target, the wrong goal, okay? For most of us, we look at weed addiction or like being not addicted to weed anymore as some type of goal based on time, right? And that's so it's like, okay, I need to go X days without weed. And I know that might be confusing because I'm going weed free for a year, but put my goals aside, okay? It's not that you want to necessarily go a specific amount of time without weed, okay? For most people who are really trapped in an addiction cycle, what your goal is, what you really want, okay, if you were like me, is to feel like you have control, right? That's what you really want, is to feel like you have control, okay? And that's why after 3 weeks of control, meaning you said no for 3 weeks straight, which is a huge win, okay? You do have a sense of, you're like, yeah, no, I can control it. I've been doing it for 3 weeks. But because the goal you set yourself upon is to go like a year, you do fail that goal because the goal is a year. But really, your goal deep down is control, okay? It's control. So, guess what? If a person's goal is to feel self-control, then we start to look for, okay, well, what are ways that would have us feel self-control? And that could look like anything to the individual. It could be me actively saying no 7 times a day, or me waiting until 3 p.m., or me going a week off, and then it's all about just having not even the willpower, okay? So now this is the second part. What you need to control is not weed. What you need to have control over is the stories and thoughts and emotions that have you smoke weed when you really actually don't want to, when you said you won't, or when it's not in your best interest or the interest of others that love you and that you love, okay? So, for example, okay, because here's the thing. Of fucking course, like, if it were up to me, I would just, like, get fucking stoned all day and not do anything with my life, okay? That's not actually true, but, like, how easy of a life that would be, how much convenience that would be. Let me use another example. Of course, I want to sleep in sometimes, but either I promised myself I'd get up at 4, or I have a job that requires me to get up at 4, or some other type of circumstance or chosen goal where waking up at 4 is the deal. And look, you get up, and what's the first thing your brain and your body say? Let's go back to fucking sleep, please. That would be so nice, right? So nice, right? But if the target is to get up at 4, then what a person really needs to control, and it's really all three, the thoughts, the emotions, and the actions, okay? But the thoughts and the emotions, that's what really gets us, right? Because when you just woke up from sleep and your whole body and nervous system is coming from a place of 5 hours of doing this all day, all night, of course, the first thing that happens when you wake up is these feelings and thoughts of wanting to return to this same state a person was in for 5 to 8 hours. That's the natural state. So put it this way. A person that smoked weed for 1 year straight, 2 years straight, 10 years straight, they've been doing this. That's not a dick, that's a bong, okay? Right? They've been doing that for years and years and years. And so, of course, the brain, the thoughts, the mind, and the body are all going to want to go back and do this. Go to the dealer, come back. Go to the dispensary, come back. And then you're going to go throw away the lighter and throw away your weed because I'm done with weed. You're going to do that for cycles because that's just what you've been doing. Okay, but just like getting up in the morning, all right, you gotta find a way. Okay, whether it's a strategy like an alarm, whether it's just being more mindful and conscious of your thoughts, right? That's a muscle. Okay, whether it's whatever works. Okay, but it's like you don't wake up at 4 on accident unless like someone jumps on you or something. You don't wake up on 4 at accident. You set that shit up. And then eventually, over time, out of habit, you wake up at 4, sometimes even before 4, because that's what your body's used to. Okay? So, as it pertains with weed use, all right, I want you to know that if you're someone who has been metaphorically sleeping for 8 years, meaning smoking for 8 years, you know, it's really expected almost for your brain and your body to want to run to weed, okay? But the whole thing about having control over yourself and your life and your actions, and in this case your weed use, is realizing that those thoughts and those cravings, although they're there, they're not in your best interest. Just like when you get up at 4 a.m., the desire to snooze is actually not in your best interest. Yes, it's not. Nothing's wrong with snoozing. Nothing's wrong with sleeping more. But if it is the game that you're playing, if it is the goal that you're up to achieving to get up at 4, well, you find a way to get up at 4, okay? Whether it's a strategy, being responsible for your thoughts, whatever, okay? Same thing goes with weed, y'all. And if you don't wake up at 4, you don't gotta make yourself like a sinner. You don't gotta make yourself feel like you are incapable, okay? That's a victim mindset, and victim mindset is a whole nother thing to talk about. But just know that, just keep trying. Like, keep trying. It's no big deal. It's no big deal, guys, if you fall susceptible to your thoughts. Just know that at the end of the day, you can't blame the thoughts, especially if you are at a certain level of awareness, okay? Because, look, here's the thing. And look, this is so human nature to, like, it's tough, guys. Like, the cravings can be very strong. And so, it takes something to have the craving, but to not take actions against the promises you gave yourself. And it's not easy, especially if you're starting from zero, meaning like you don't have that muscle, but it is a muscle. And the only way a barbell is gonna lift itself is if you lift it. And the only way you're gonna get stronger is you keep lifting it, okay? So it's like you can't, this is what most of us are doing. And my annoying and frustrated tone is not at you. It's at like me for, you know, I'm like, when you get to a certain level of self-control over weed, you'll start to see, or you may have probably started to see like how, not silly, and I really want to empathize, guys, like and girls, when a person is in a state of addiction, that is one of the deepest, darkest places of victimhood ever, to the point where you don't even have control over your own like decisions anymore. Like you get what I'm saying? So I get it. I really do freaking get it, okay? Anyways, I think that's enough for today, or for this video. I appreciate you all. Hopefully that made some sense and had a positive impact, and maybe even, you know, gave you some enlightenment on what you're going through. And until next time, peace.